And welcome to the Board Game Network. This is James. I'm going to be showing you how to play this game called Dungeon Time. It's designed by Carlo A. Rossi and it's put out by Ares Game. It plays 1 to 5 players. And the very first thing you're going to do is look in the back of the book for a scenario. There's different scenarios. There's a campaign where you play through different scenarios. And you can even add some bonus scenarios in there to make the campaign a longer one, or leave the bonus ones out to make it a little bit shorter. And there's one-shot scenarios. It suggests you start with the training ground, which is this one here. You're looking at these mission cards that have a green top to them, and there's 12 of them. You are going to pick 2 at random from the 12 after you mix them up. And all the other mission cards that have a different color top to them, they're more complex than these ones. You'll notice these ones only need 2 items. These ones have a lot more items on there, on the harder missions. So you're going to remove the other ones out of the game. And you'll notice also this gives you a goal. You have to complete 10 of your 12 missions to win the game. So once you have your scenario picked out, you are going to shuffle your item deck here. And for a different number of players, there's a different number of cards you deal. So just for instance, let's just say we're playing a solo game. Well, it's 13 cards, so you deal 13. And you mix your 2 missions in, which is not really going to make any difference whatsoever in a solitaire game because you're drawing the whole deck. But in the 2-player and up to 5, you're going to be dealing this deck out, this starter deck. So everybody's going to have the same number of cards. You're going to stack these rewards by reward. There's 2 of each, and they match the items on your cards. So once you have your starting hand, you are going to mix the rest of your rewards into your deck. Then you're going to look at your hand and you're going to need to talk with each other. And so you're going to say, well, my mission needs a shield and a sword. And so somebody might say, well, I've got a shield, I'll play that down. Or I've got a sword. And I'm looking at my hand and I've got a shield here, but I don't have a sword. So you can play a shield down, and other people can play. And I got another mission that's a bow and arrow and a torch. So I could play the torch down. And there's the bow and arrow. And you always want to keep refilling your hand back to your starting hand size. So I played 4 cards down, so I need to draw 4. And this is kind of a memory game, remembering what stuff you've put down, remembering what, once you complete this mission, it gives you this reward. And so that one's going to then be available to help complete a different mission. So you just keep going like this, throwing some stuff out, drawing your replacement ones. And you need to flip the timer at the beginning of that. I didn't say that. So this is your adventure phase. You flip that, and all of this is real time. Nobody is taking a turn. Everybody's just going simultaneously, trying to complete missions. and grabbing cards as fast as you can to try to get through this. Okay, well, I'm not really sticking to the rules there, but once the timer's out or you've played through the deck, you're going to flip this deck over and start flipping them up, and each item you have goes in the backpack. And if it's a different item, it has to go in a different slot on the backpack. If it's the same item, then it can go in the same slot, but there's a maximum of 3 of an item in a slot. Okay, so I have my first mission that flips up. It needs a bow and arrow and a torch. I have a bow and arrow and a torch. So that's a completed mission, so that goes out, and it also rewards a sword. So you pick the sword off of here and you put it in a slot in your backpack. And if you've already got some swords, it can go in that same slot, but it counts just like a card, so you're limited to 3 total. And then you keep flipping up. And here's one that needs a shield and an anchor. And I do not have one of those, so this one is a failure. It's failed. Now I can remove a shield, anything it requires. I can remove one of those if I want to off of the backpack if I want to. Now you actually lose the game. There's only 8 slots here, but there's 12 items. So you lose the game if you ever need to put a card down and there's not a space for it in your backpack. You've busted your backpack. Well, I'm not going to have too many of these that match up because I'm just kind of throwing them out there. Okay. So if you can go completely, if you've played through and you've completed your goal for missions, so in our case it was 10 missions, then you win the game. If you do not complete 10 missions, then you have lost the game, or if you break the backpack, you lose the game. Also, there are a bunch of variants back here on the back. You've got some adventure cards. There's 4 different adventure cards, and they work a little bit differently than the scenarios. They have a different setup. And they have these cards that can be played after a certain number of reputation has been played, and those, your reputation is based on completed missions. There are also hero cards that get played during the resolution phase, one time during the resolution phase, and they give you, each player gets some kind of unique ability. At the beginning you deal out 2 of these to each player, and they keep 1, and there are 10 of those. So that's the game Dungeon Time. It fits into that scenario. Somebody that wants to have a memory type game, because you're trying to remember what things have been played and what things haven't. It's not heavy memory, but you're sitting there going, okay, I think there was a reward, a sword for when I complete one. I think we've already played one of those, and other people are trying to help out, and I think I played an extra. And you can actually, in your hand, if you don't want something, you can actually discard it and just draw another card. But if you discard too many things, then you won't have the items you need to fulfill the missions, right? So it kind of fits into those people that like the game Fuse by Renegade. This real-time, playing as fast as you can type thing. It's very fun to do when you've got a big group of people and you're trying to work together. Hey, I need this. I need to complete this mission. And we throw in some cards. I got this card and I got this card, and trying to get those cards out there in time. And try not to break your backpack. It's a challenge. And with there being all these different missions, all these different scenarios to try to go through. So that's how you play this game called Dungeon Time, put out by Aries Games. Make sure you tune into all of our videos here at the Board Game Network.